guys,
Cool.
thanks so much for taking the time to watch us today. This is Jax from Who Killed Kurt. Everybody knows him. He's an admin in our group. And of course, this is our returning friend, Brent Alden. Yeah, hopefully you've watched Brent's original podcast. We are waiting for Steve to stop by so we can talk about some fun mentors stuff. But we thought we would just have a kind of a cool little chat about music and how everything's been going for everyone over the last few weeks. So yeah, so music wise, so Jax, do you like is that sort of like hardcore stuff, the mentors where especially, it's a little bit more flamboyant, it's obviously very humorous. Is that kind of stuff in your wheelhouse?
So when I was younger, I would say like absolutely not that like shock rock, rape rock that they had going on. That totally turned me off. I was like, whoa, that's kind of extreme. I'm not messing with that. As I'm older, I have a lot more appreciation just for art in general. Everything's subjective and it means whatever it can mean to this person and something else to another person. So like I would say that yeah, I enjoy their music. It took a long fucking time, but, yeah, I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know a whole lot of other music from that type genre other than like maybe G.G. Allen, but yeah, I mean the Mentors are cool. I like them.
right on. What music did you grow up on, Brent? Because I don't think we really talked about this, but when you're a kid, in school and stuff, you know, this would have been the 70s, I guess. What was your skipping school, going to listen to records music?
I used to listen to Rodney on the Rock, Rodney Bingenheimer on K Rock. He
Oh,
would
right on.
play Ramones, Black Flag, Dead
I knew
Kennedys
it was the Ramones.
later. I've been listening to him since '76 when I was 10 years old.
That's amazing. And I forget, like I know we talked about this before, but have you seen the Ramones play? You have, right?
Yeah, I've seen him 16 times.
And are
I
they
hate
really
it
good
here. That's awesome.
Since '83.
That's awesome. And were they great every time?
They were great every time. Yeah, my favorite band.
So cool. And then, we were talking about, I think before how the Ramones just like roll through towns and everybody after they see them play is like, holy shit, I need to start a band. They're such a
Yeah,
cool garage band. And is that how you felt at the time?
I did. And later on, Dee Dee Ramone wrote me a song called "False Alarm" for my band and
Oh, that's
recorded.
rad.
Yeah.
What did you think of Dee Dee's foray into rap?
I liked it. I thought it was
Did you?
cool because I really were into rap music. Chaos 13 was into rap music as well as punk rock, mostly punk rock, but we listened to a lot of rap bands too, gangster rap.
I feel like it's all coming from the same place. I know a lot of punk is more political than I grew up in this shitty situation and my life, is not great, but I think, hip hop and rap and punk do have a lot of common threads. What do you think, Jack? So
Oh,
you're into rap
100%.
too. Yeah.
100%. That is a perfect fucking I'm sorry, I curse a lot too. But that's a perfect way to put that. I have a word for that, but I can't think of it at the moment. But yeah, no, the similarities between the two of them, especially like very early gangster rap and like just punk rock in general, like the like the energy that like was emanating from the punk rock movement and early hip hop are very, very similar. It's just all really about like deconstructing already like constructed terrible constructs.
And so what was the first sort of rap band that you got into, Jax? Or like was it, Eminem, was it just
I
like
would
a
say probably like Eminem, Dr. Dre, and NWA. That's like my first introduction into rap. And from there, you branch out and go your own way. I like more older rap and hip hop than a lot of the stuff that's out nowadays. Not to say that that's not good. It's just not my cup of tea with all the auto tune and everybody has the same subject matter. But yeah, no, I'd say like early NWA. That
Cool.
was my introduction to it, and it's been running ever since.
So Brent, you actually got to know the Ramones a bit then. Would you say you were closest with Dee Dee?
Yeah. Dee Dee was a big fan of False Alarm because we had the same guitar player, Paul Kostabi, the artist from New York, Paul Kostabi, and he would paint paintings with Dee Dee Ramone. And then Paul started playing the False Alarm on the last couple records.
Right on. What about like the later versions, when Marky joined and stuff like that? Did you know him as well?
I've met Marky a couple times.
Cool. And I know that Johnny and Joey were very sort of different politically. Did you ever sort of witness that play out, or they were both,
No,
didn't really
I
matter?
never. The only one I rung out with was Dee Dee a few times, and he was just a big
Right on.
fan of Alarm, But I've met Johnny and Joey,
Yeah.
but I never rung out with them.
Right on. And so in LA, obviously people I think would think 70s, 80s punk scene in LA, that's kind of the place to be. Did you feel like that growing up in it? Like you were
Yeah,
really happy you lived
we
there?
were a great scene in LA back in the 80s, 70s and stuff. I was real young in the 70s, but
Yeah. Okay.
it
Yeah.
was a great scene.
Well, and at what age, like, did they do a lot of all ages shows and stuff too? What age were you like, okay, I started going to punk shows and, oh yeah. Okay.
1982.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. And what about you, Jax? When did you start going to shows?
Oh man, probably like my first concerts were like with my dad, and that was like in the early 2000s. My first concert that I went to was, I want to say 2007, Slipknot.
Oh, cool. And then
And
at
then
some
after
point,
that, it's just been everything ever since, all the time, as much as possible.
and you go to small shows too? Like, will you go to like a couple hundred?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll go to maybe 50 people at a show at the Central Saloon on a Thursday, that type thing.
Cool. Brent, did you ever go, obviously you toured and stuff. What did you guys think of the Seattle scene when you went there and played?
We never been up to Seattle.
Oh,
I've been to Seattle 3 times on business, but we
oh,
didn't tour much False Alarm. We just played like in LA, um, San Francisco, Orange County. We
yeah.
didn't really tour. We just made records.
I mean, you're in California, you don't really have to go very far, that's for sure, to get,
Yeah.
a good turnout. And what about New York? Did you do the other coast at all?
No, I've been to New York 8 times, but we didn't really tour False Alarm. Just made records and
Right
played
on.
live in LA, sort of Southern California, Northern California.
For sure, for sure. And so Jax, you've always been in Seattle? Is that where you're originally from?
Yeah, not like the actual like city of Seattle, like my whole life, but all over this whole area of Washington State pretty much.
Yeah,
Right now I'm in Des Moines, but that's like a throw away from Seattle, so
right
it's
on.
easier than hey, where are you from? Oh yeah, I'm from Des Moines. Well, where's that? It's next to Seattle. Oh, okay, Seattle. If you're not
Totally.
from here, it's just easier just saying Seattle. But
Do you,
yeah, I've been around here my entire life.
do you go see MXPX ever?
I have not seen them,
Oh,
no.
okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've seen them a bunch of times. They're so good live. I mean, they've been doing it for 100 years, so they
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Right. I haven't seen them yet.
yeah, no,
One of
they're
these
really good.
days.
For sure. Brent, have you seen what about, the Descendants? Is that a band you're we're into or are into?
Yeah, I like the Descendants. I've seen them like 20 times play. They're
And
really,
did you like it? Obviously, I mean, you like them better than like with Milo than when they became All?
yeah, I like it with Milo better. It's a better band with Milo, but All's got some cool songs.
Yeah, I always thought, I mean, I wasn't, I can't say that I've been into the Descendants forever, but I still think, yeah, that all has some really good stuff, and I think people were kind of a little hard on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the drummer from the Descendants, I believe, he recently, well, not probably not recently now, but he had brain cancer or something, didn't he? Or a brain tumor? He ended up having,
Jeez.
Did he have brain cancer? He went out with my ex-girlfriend.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And because he's the one who started the Descendants, right? And
I,
so
Milo started it, but I'm not sure.
okay. And so he ended up, I think he had a brain tumor, and then the guy operating on him was actually a Descendants fan, which to me is just, it's so interesting. And he's fine, he's doing really well. But he said something where he said, I was always walking around with a headache. And I just thought that's how everybody lived because he'd had this, this tumor for so long that he didn't realize that, that people's heads weren't kind of, had that background throbbing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. And imagine drumming with that.
That's
Like,
crazy.
right? Yeah, imagine just like, yeah, drumming and then having this, situation going on in your head. It's pretty crazy. But so do
That's
you think, Brent,
crazy.
when was the last time you went to a show? Like what would have been the last show that you went to?
Zero Boys.
Okay, when was that?
That was about 8 years ago.
Oh, right on.
I have been going to shows. I used to go to shows all the time in the '80s, but I slowed down in the '90s. I still went to a lot of shows in the '90s, but after early 2000s, I stopped going to shows pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Has the scene changed a lot, do you feel like in LA?
Yeah, it's a completely different scene than it was
Yeah.
in the '80s.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. And did you see stuff like just like I guess this is a little before your time, but like Joan Jett, did you ever see her play?
No, I've never seen the Runaways play.
Oh, okay. Oh, that feels like that would have been a great show.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I know she still plays now, but it's
That's not the
it's not the
same.
same.